Most people believe their greatest problems live outside of them in circumstances, in adversaries, in challenges, in pressure, in situations that feel unfair or overwhelming. But the truth is far more unsettling, far more honest, and far more transformative. The greatest battle of your life is not the one happening around you. It's the one happening within you. It is the battle nobody sees, the war fought in silence, the conflict that never makes a sound but shakes your entire existence. It is where your fears whisper, your doubts argue, your insecurities scream, your wounds bleed, your past resurfaces, and your identity trembles. This is the battlefield that matters. This is where destinies are shaped or destroyed. This is where truth collides with lies. This is where the soul wrestles for ownership of your future. Because nothing outside you can defeat you unless something inside you surrenders first. The invisible war no one talks about. People see your success or failure. They see your opportunities or obstacles. They see your progress or delay. They see your calm or chaos. But they do not see the war you fight when the world is silent. You can look perfectly composed on the outside ear, be breaking in 1,000 places on the inside. You can look strong while silently suffocating. You can look confident while feeling fragile. You can look whole while carrying invisible fractures. The world misreads your beckers. The world only sees the surface. But the real battle, the most dangerous battle, is always internal. It is the war between who you are and who you're afraid you'll become. The war between who you've been and who you're trying to be. The war between truth and deception, faith and fear, healing and hurt, identity and insecurity. And you cannot win an external battle while losing the internal one. The enemy is not your circumstances, it's your interpretation of them. Two people can experience the same storm but respond differently, not because of the storm, but because of the state of their soul. The battle is not what happened, it's how you interpret what happened. Not the obstacle, but the meaning you attach to the obstacle. Not the delay, but the beliefs you form during the delay. Not the betrayal, but the identity-shattering lies you internalize because of it. Circumstances don't define you. Your inner response does. The outside world is loud, but your internal world is louder. It is not life that shapes your identity, it is your inner dialogue, your inner wounds, your inner strength. And if the voice inside you is against you, it won't matter who is for you. The mind, the primary battlefield of destiny. Your mind is the sacred ground where the war of existence begins. Every thought plants a seed, every belief builds a structure, every memory shapes a narrative, every lie creates a prison, every truth breaks one. Your mind decides how you interpret pain, how you respond to fear, what you believe about yourself. Whether you fight or give up, whether you hope or collapse, whether you move or freeze. The mind is where doubt whispers, fear negotiates, insecurity manipulates, trauma echoes, wounds distort, pride argues, anxiety imagines disaster. But it is also where faith rises, courage awakens, resilience forms, wisdom grows, healing begins, clarity emerges, strength develops. Your mind is a battlefield bus. Your future depends on who wins the war within it. The war between who you pretend to be and who you really are. There is a version of you that the world knows, polished, curated, carefully controlled. But then there is the version of you that only you and God know, the one beneath the mask, beneath the performance, beneath the armor. The internal battle becomes most intense when the gap between those two selves widens. The public you wants approval, the private you wants authenticity. The public you wants to be admired. The private you wants to be understood. The public you hides wounds. The private you cries for healing. And the war intensive as subtle. You finally confront the truth. You cannot win the internal battle while lying to yourself about who you are. Healing begins with honesty. Strength begins with vulnerability. Victory begins with truth. You cannot conquer what you refuse to confront. The past, a ghost that fights in the present. Your past is not passive. It fights old wounds. Fight old betrayals. Fight old failures. Fight old memories. Fight old memories. Fight old heartbreaks. Fight old heartbreaks. Fight. Your past tries to convince you that you are still that broken version of yourself. Still that insecure version. Still that wounded version. Still that afraid version. But the battle is not your past, it's your attachment to it. It's the narratives. You refuse to release the identities. You refuse to outgrow the labels you still wear, even after leaving the places that hurt you. You cannot step into your future while dragging the corpse of who you used to be. The battle is not behind you, it's within you. The war of fear versus faith. Fear is loud. Faith is quiet. Fear screams. Faith whispers. Fear exaggerates. Faith stabilizes. Fear imagines disaster. Faith imagines possibility. Fear restricts. Faith releases. Every day you wake up, fear and faith fight for control of your soul. Fear says, you can't handle this. Faith says, you're stronger than you think. Fear says, you're alone. Faith says, you're supported. Fear says, what if everything goes wrong? Faith says, what if everything goes right? Fear says, protect yourself. Faith says, grow. Fear builds walls. Faith builds bridges. Fear makes you hide. Faith helps you heal. The battle is choosing which voice you will obey. The emotional battle, the storm inside the chests. The heart holds its own war. It holds grief that resurfaces, loneliness disguised as independence, disappointment disguised as cynicism, anxiety disguised as control, insecurity disguised as confidence, sadness disguised as anger, exhaustion disguised as apathy. Or heart is where everything you suppress comes back louder. What you avoid controls you. What you bury grows roots. What you silence gains power. You can't win the internal bat life. You are emotionally disconnected from yourself. Courage is not the absence of emotion, it's the willingness to face it. The identity battle. Who are you, really? Your identity is not built in calm seasons. It is forged in conflict. Identity forms when you choose truth over lies. You choose self-worth over self-doubt. You choose growth over comfort. You choose healing over hiding. You choose purpose over passivity. The biggest identity battle is not external opposition, it's internal confusion. The question is not, who do they think you are, but who do you think you are? Because identity determines destiny, and the internal battle cannot be won as long as you believe you are less than who you were created to be. The war is won through awareness, not avoidance. Avoidance is easier. Avoiding yourself is the easiest battle you'll ever lose. Avoiding emotions, avoiding truth, avoiding responsibility, avoiding healing, avoiding forgiveness, avoiding growth. But awareness changes everything. Awareness says, this fear is not me. This insecurity is old. This wound needs attention. This reaction comes from the past. This belief no longer serves me. This identity was inherited, not chosen. You cannot conquer an enemy you refuse to recognize. Awareness is the first victory. Inner peace is not the absence of battles. It's mastery over them. People imagine inner peace as a calm lake, still, quiet, untouched. But real inner peace exists even in war. Inner peace is responding. Instead of reacting, grounding yourself. Instead of collapsing, noticing your emotions. Instead of drowning in them, choosing faith even when fear screams, trusting even when you don't understand. Remembering who you are when everything attacks your identity. Staying steady even when life shakes. Inner peace is not the end of the battle. It is winning from the inside. The strongest people are those who fought the hardest. Within, strength is not loud, strength is quiet. Strength is not in how much you lift, but in how much you release. Strength is not in how you appear, but in how you endure. Strength is forged when you confront yourself, you break patterns, you silence lies, you rewire your thinking, you heal wounds, you create new habits, you choose healing over bitterness. You choose surrender over control. The strongest version of you, the one who emerged from your internal battles. You can win any external battle once you win the internal. A person who has won the battle within becomes unstoppable. They become unshakable, grounded, emotionally intelligent, spiritually stable, mentally disciplined, identity-rooted, purpose-driven, self-aware, resilient. Nothing outside you can defeat you once you have mastered the inside of you. Storms lose their power. Criticism loses its sting. Fear loses its voice. Rejection loses its influence. Uncertainty loses its control. Win inside, and you win everywhere. The real war is won in the quiet places. People look for heroes in the battlefield of the world, but the real Harasayer, the ones who conquered themselves. Not the ones who fought loud external wars, but the ones who defeated silent internal ones. Because once you win the internal battle, the battle around you becomes irrelevant. Your greatest enemy is not life, not circumstances, not people, not the past, not situations. Your greatest enemy is the unhealed, unexamined, untransformed version of yourself. Win that battle, and every other battle becomes winnable, because the battle isn't around you, it's inside you. And once you master the inside, the outside cannot break you ever again.